Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. She builds my spiritual toolbox. If you are new to the channel, hello. We're happy to have you. I hope that anything that you hear on tonight, you'll be able to use along your spiritual journey. And if you feel like it'll be helpful with someone else, please share it. So, yeah, today is Toolbox Talk Tuesday. These will be our Bible studies. I will upload a video every Tuesday. If not, it'll be on a Thursday, but I'm trying to do every Tuesday. This is going to be our Bible studies. So, yeah, I'm going to just dive right into it. And we dive in tonight. So, our topic for tonight is a tool of war. I will have the scriptures in the description below because I'm not going to read them or go into, I'm just going to kind of paraphrase because I don't want the video longer than what it's going to be. And so I'm going to start off in Acts. Excuse me if I keep looking now. I have my notes here. So in Acts, he starts off and tells us we are his chosen instrument. Matter of fact, he said, he is a chosen instrument of mine. He is to bear my name. I want you to stay there with a chosen instrument of mine. We're going to go on to Jeremiah. This the one. This the one that pierced my heart, y'all. This the one that gave me like, oh, okay, God. Every time I read it, but I'm gonna go ahead. It is Jeremiah 50 and 21, and what it says is, "Thou art my battle axe, my weapon of war. With you I shatter nations. With you I destroy kingdoms." Yeah, just gotta read it again. Do you did it pierce you? I don't know, but I know what it did for me. I'm gonna read it again. Thou art my battle axe, my weapon of war. With you I will shatter nations. With you I would destroy kingdoms. Y'all, when I first read it, it sent me chills. I told my sister, I called her. I was like, girl, that is good. Like, and she was like, it is. It's deep. I said, it is. I said, and one thing, the reason why, y'all, because God, we have God-given identities, I told y'all. And to me, he was revealing to me another part of my identity that I didn't even know. Like, I knew about the salt, I knew about the light, but the battle axe, you want to take me out there on the battlefield? In the palm of your hands, man. So I was like, ooh, that is good to me. So y'all, I'm like, God, give it to me. What is it? Break it down from, I already know you got preparation before I even get on the battlefield. Because, y'all, got a little stuff done in order. So it is a process before he can even take us, before we even placed in his hands to be that battle axe, to be taken onto the battlefield. So God begins to break it down. Well, first, I'm just give you a little something about the battle axe. The battle axe was created as a tool of war. It was specifically created, designed to be taken into battle. Back then, they did have other axes. They were like utility axes, but you can use them for war, but that's not what they were created for. They wasn't going to be as effective in the battle as the battle axe that was created to do some damage. With the utility axe, it was kind of to chop down trees, and to get a tree down, you got to hit it a couple times with that axe. This battle axe that was designed for combat, baby, it take one blow, it taking off your head, the man head, the horse head. One blow, one strike, that's all it takes. So God already saying something right there with a battle axe, baby. The reason why he called us his battle axes. So I was like, okay, God, that's good right there. But of course, he got to keep going. So he brought me to he started breaking down the way it is created, the way it is designed, and the durability of the battle axe. It effectiveness depends on how it is created. Right? It depends on the welder. Because sometimes the welder, if they use too much material, they can make it too heavy. Or if they don't cut down the wood, it could be too long. So it has to be fearfully and wonderfully made. It got to be made specifically to take it to come back and to be effective when taken along out on that battlefield. So one of the God, I was like, well, okay, God, well, how do we? Who's our welder? You know, give it to me straight. Just break it down, piece by piece for me. Cause whatever you share with me, I'm gonna share it to my. I'm gonna share with my sisters. I'm gonna give it to them. You know, that's how we doing on this channel. You said whatever you share with me, I am to share with them. So as he began to share and go into deeper about it, he began to tell me that I weld you. I weld you with my word. This is our welding. And during our welding process, I said, okay, God, I can see that. And then he began to tell me how it's being created. The thing is, when a belter axe is being designed, when it's being created, one of the most components of most important parts is the fire, because the fire when it's through the fire, put through the fire. You know what I'm saying? Is sharpened, is strengthened, and is shaped, because even the shape, that curved shape of it, I don't know which way y'all, but anyway, that curved shape of it is meant to dig deeper, to do more damage, a deeper cut, like to really dig in when they, to make sure you don't gonna get them with that first blow. So I'm like, oh God. So what is the fires? What are the fires in our lives? He began to say, the tribulations, the valleys, the challenges, the long suffering, those things where people feel like that they allowed to make them dull and rust. It was really those fires that you have to be put through them for them to will you to and to shape you, to sharpen you, to strengthen you. And they're inevitable. I've already told you, these fires you're gonna go through them. You're gonna keep going through them because I need to keep sharpening you. I need you to keep getting strength. I need to keep shaping you. Because he got to make sure that we're going to be in good condition when you go on the battlefield. Because I know, for me, I know if I'm going to go on the battlefield, I'm going to pick the best condition battle axe I can find. I'm talking about, because I want to make sure that I at least got a chance to get back. You know what I'm saying? So I want the tool that I'm going to be using to do some damage. So with God, he was like, but he was like, it's even preparation. I told you, God, it's so good to me. But he said, before I can begin sharpening you and strengthening you and shaping you, welding you to be my battle axe on the battlefield, you have to first surrender. And Isaiah, it literally tells us, after you surrender. After you surrender, then you are placed in God's hands. After you are placed into God's hands, then he can use you. You are usable. Now he can take you out on the battlefield. You could be used for service. So if you haven't surrendered, sis, it's time to surrender so that you could begin the process. God can begin the process of wielding you. I don't know if it's welding or wielding, but I think it's welding. Excuse me. So he could begin the process of welding you, sharpening you, strengthening you, shaping you. We need that as children of God. We need that. It is important. It is very important for the work that he has for us to do, especially going on the battlefield, y'all. Going on that battlefield, you want to be in top shape. So I was like, okay, God, that's real good right there. So then he began to give me the characteristics of a battle axe. Because I'm still asking the question, why a battle axe, you know? He could have chose a screwdriver. He could have, why not a sword? Why not a sword? Why did he say a sword? Well, y'all, back then, the battle axe was the number one weapon to go into battle with. Because of its, I'm definitely the characteristic, because of its sharpness, its power, which is it is impact, is versatility, because you can take it with you anywhere. It was light, but it was effective in battle. And it didn't matter if you was on the horse, you was on foot, rolling on the ground. It was doing. You could put it in one hand, put it in the other hand. Hey, use both hands. So it was versatile. Like, put it like this: wherever you pivot, it pivoted with you. So it also was available. It made it available because the versatility in the way that it was created, the way it was designed, it was designed to be attached to the hip of the warrior. Listen, attached to the hip of the warrior. So if God is referred as the man of war, he is the warrior. He's choosing us as the battle axe. See, what we need to do is get attached to his side, right there on his side. Because when that battle axe was attached to his side, he could take it anywhere with him. That means he was always armored. God said we are to be armored with his word. We are to be armored everywhere we go. We should not be walking unarmored. How we get armored is attaching ourselves to God, attaching ourselves to his word, allowing his word to wield us and sharpen us, to mold, to shape us. And so, sis, attach yourself. Make sure you are right there, but make sure that you're going to be in condition to be used. Because God, if you rusted and dull, you can't be used. What can God do with you? He cannot take you onto the battlefield with him. It's not going to do what it was designed and created to do. It was created to like I said, to make impact, to pierce, to cause a transformation when touched. Soon as that battle axe, even if it don't destroy them and take them out, y'all, it gonna transform them, disfigure them or something, because it's such a sharp and powerful tool. So that's why it was saying that it had the capacity to pierce through their armor. The enemy protection don't stand a chance when God is in you. I'm gonna tell you. I'm finna move on to the other point. I'm gonna tell you about when I said, well, okay, God, I understand what you're saying. Surrender, stay in our word, because they were gonna keep us begin our sharpening process and strengthening us. But he said the key to a weapon has maintenance. So you have to upkeep the weapon in order for it to be durable, for it to be usable. You have to make sure that it's gonna stay sharp. After it has went, it did get sharp in the kingdom, but to make sure it's sharp, once again, it goes back to your word. He said, you are to meditate on my word day and night. That means it's day in and day out. We want to take days off and say, well, you know what, God, we think it's okay because we study yesterday. It's many other ways that you can study. Stay in God's word, stay meditate. Like I said, plug yourself into a Bible study. Figure it out how to stay sharp, sis. That's why it is. That's why it's on the title it says, sis, stay sharp. Figure it out. Figure out how to keep yourself sharp so that you can be usable to God. Because if you go dull and you get rusted, and I guess the question is, how do we get dull? How do we get rusted? How we get there is one thing is we selfish. With our selfishness and our emotions and all that take over. It's always about us and our needs. And so therefore, when it's all about us, we tend to make conform to the world or whatever. To do worldly things that keep us set apart. It keeps us dull. I guess get some gossiping, belittling people. Not like we are supposed to be representations of God. So you have to misrepresent God in the way that you talk, in the way that you are approaching people. You're supposed to be set apart. Since we are called to something different, we are to be set apart in every part of our being, our thoughts, our approaches. The things that we watch, the things that we listen to, all this keeps us in shape along with the word. All this keeps us sharp. We are to be gatekeepers and watchmen. We are to be watchmen. Watch what you listen to. Watch the conversations you engage in. Watch the things that you're listening to. It does harm. Like I told you in the previous video, it really does harm. Don't look at nothing little. If anything, the only validation that should matter is God. We should be going to him for everything. God, is okay if I'm watching this. God, is okay if I'm listening to this. God, because God said, be slow to speak. So if somebody else talking, you don't have to give no advice about it. You can just, and change the subject. Don't engage in the gossip. Don't help spread and make assumptions and stuff like that. So it's a lot of things that go into that can cause you to be rusted. Not failing to assemble yourself, which means we are to be, if we're trying to build in God, we're trying to mature spiritually. It's good to be assembled with like-minded people that can help, like I said, nurture their relationship. So don't fail to assemble yourself. It can cause you to be dull. Not understanding the Bible because you haven't invested in the right resources could cause you to be dull. Being in the wrong environments can cause you to be dull. Conforming to the world and what the world's saying that you can be, choosing your own identity rather than going and getting in God and letting him give you the identity that already have been chosen for you, can keep you dull and rusted. So sis, position yourself to stay sharp, and so that you could be usable to God. The next thing, like I said, being able to pivot with God. I think I mentioned that too. That tool attached to his side, like I said, it can go anywhere with him. He is always armed. He is always armed. He's never unarmed. So if, like I said, he can take him out on the horse, he can throw it. If he throw that belt of axe, oh, y'all was sitting on something. If he throw that belt of axe with the right force in the direction of the enemy, it's gonna pierce. It's gonna do some damage when it hit. So I'm gonna go back to, I'm gonna rewind when it says we are to be in our word and is to keep us sharp. When you are in your word, the word is in you. If the word is in you, then God is in you. So if God is in you, when you open your mouth, he said the word is alive and living and powerful, and it's sharper than a two-headed sword. Isaiah tells us right here, he made my mouth like a sharp sword. You know why? Because you in your word and God is in you. And being that God is in you, when you open your mouth to other people and they hear what it's saying, it's supposed to pierce. It's supposed to make impact. A transformation something's supposed to happen. And that's why I said you are in power when God is in you. In power when he is in you. So y'all, like I said, I don't know for y'all, but for me, it was a word. You to be a tool of war, to be in God's hand, for him to choose us. To go on the battlefield along his side as his warrior bride. Not just a bride, but he also chooses us to be a warrior to go into battle with him. Now, you can't battle by yourself now. Because keep in mind, God is your shield of protection. It said, he hid me in the shadow of his hand. So like I said, sis, just kind of evaluate yourself. First step, have you surrendered? If you have surrendered, are you doing what you're supposed to do to stay sharp? Are you doing what you're supposed to do to be strengthened and shaped? Are you doing what you're supposed to do for when you open your mouth that you're supposed to slice open some things? Because keep in mind, he tells us that we don't fight against flesh and blood. Y'all, this thing is spiritual. We are forever in a spiritual battle. The devil doesn't sleep. So that means we're supposed to, why he said about to ask, we're supposed to pivot. And when he's ready to pull us to use, we're supposed to be ready and in shape. Because we done equipped ourselves by staying in the word. We're in top shape. We are in top condition to go out on a battlefield and use our mouth as a weapon, as a sword against the enemy. Because one thing about it, God used different people in the Bible. He gave them different tools. He gave some physical tools, but he empowered the tools that they were using. But with prophet Isaiah, he went in his words, his mouth was his sword. But let me tell you about Moses. Y'all give me 1 minute. I had to wrote down because y'all, Moses was good to me. Where is it at? Is it in this one? Well, y'all, okay. So we all know that God used the rod as an instrument, as a physical instrument, a tool for Moses. And that, y'all, that rod did some things. We know. You in your word, you know what that rod was doing. But I'm gonna set the scene for when he went and God turned it into a snake and he put it on the floor and then he picked it up and the snake died and it became back a rod. The thing about that tool that was in Moses' hands, that rod, it was a representation of something. It represented his identity. It represented his influence. It represented his occupation. Is that not the same for us? If we're God's tool, or we're not to do, does it not, the way we carry ourselves, keep in mind our job is to make the invisible God visible. So it should be a representation on us. They should know our spiritual occupation. They should know our chosen identity because we're living in it. And if you're living in your chosen identity, you're going to have the influence that he put you in the earth to do. You was put as salt to flavor the earth. You were put as a light to bring light to the darkness, because we live in a spiritually dark world. And then, like I said, it getting me choked up. It brought to me another part of my identity, and you are a battle axe, baby. Don't go dull and rusty. You are salt. Don't lose your saltiness. You are the light. Don't go dim or go out, because then you cannot be usable. What you gonna do with salt that ain't got no flavor? Back then, when the salt lost its flavor, guess what they did? They tossed it out and it was trampled on. That means it lost its purpose, what it was created for. Don't lose sight of what you was created for. Don't let your light dim and go out, because we are to provide light for those that are in the darkness. Now, if your light go out, how the blind gonna lead the blind? I can't see. You can't see. And then it goes to the other part, the new identity I just found, the better act. Sis, who gonna, if you rusty and dull, what can God do with you? You try to take a rusty and dull, like I told you earlier, on the battlefield, something gonna happen. The head gonna come off. It's just not gonna be effective. So those things are meant to make impact. Those are analogies that are used because all of them have the same blueprint. We are to be an influence. So don't lose your influence. Once you lose your influence, he tells us in his word, y'all, that then we're no good for the kingdom. That's one of the most powerful things that he has given us is the power of influence in the earth by the life that we live. That's why I say when he's wielding you, he's wielding your thoughts, your approach, the way that the lenses that you're looking at, how you view and see people, how you treat people, how you love on people. It shapes your whole being. Like the welder shapes everything about that battle axe, from the shape to the material that it's equipped for. It is the same with God. So since I hope that what you heard on tonight has sharpened you. It has empowered you, and that you continue to sharpen yourself. You stay in your word so you can stay wielded. Stay in your word so that you can be usable. So that's all I have for tonight on our Toolbox Talk. Thank you for joining, and I will see you guys later. But before I go, remember to stay blessed, be blessed, and stay prayed up.